Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the 9th annual Camp for a Cause and the second virtual camp. I'm Josh Davis. If you don't know me, I'm the Executive Director of Groundworks Collaborative. I'm going to be your host tonight, and we are so glad to have you with us this evening as we aim to raise vital funds to support our work, as well as raising awareness about the state of homelessness in our community and in the broader state of Vermont right now. More than 1 year into the COVID pandemic, we were just talking right before we came on that it was almost 1 year ago to the day that we gathered here in Vermont on that day a year ago. It was much cooler than it is today. I think we are in the mid 80s today, so much warmer. Happy to be outside. The sun is setting right now. It's a perfect night for camping. And so tonight we're going to give you a little peek into the work and the people of our amazing organization. And this by no means is going to be a passive evening. Not at all. This is actually interactive. Whether you're watching on Facebook or on the YouTube live stream, we encourage you to participate, to open the conversation. Let us know in the chat or the comment box where you're watching from tonight. You can leave comments on Facebook in the comments section or on the YouTube live stream. So chime in. We're going to figure out who is watching from the furthest distance, how many people are watching here in Brattleboro, and if that crazy crew from Georgia is tuning in again tonight. We'll find out soon. In addition to the online platforms, we're also live on BCTV channel 1075, and very thankful to the support of the fine folks at BCTV for all their behind the scenes magic to keep things running smoothly and to keep this production looking great. So thank you so much, BCTV. Quick couple words about the camp. I just want to note that the camp started 9 years ago. It's actually older than the organization Groundworks itself. And it started as one of the first things that we did as a collaboration between Morningside Shelter and the Brattleboro Area Drop-In Center. And the camp was part of the way that we started working more closely together that paved the way eventually to the work that formed Groundworks. And when we started the camp, we wanted to bring attention to the fact that the seasonal overflow shelter closes in the spring. And when it does, many people have no other options in our community besides camping. Over the course of the past 14 months, the blur that it has been, it seems crazy that we're back here a year later. In some ways, it's gone so fast, and in other ways, it's almost like the year that wouldn't seem to end or get going. But in that time, we did something remarkable in Vermont. We interrupted homelessness. With state leadership and work by organizations like Groundworks, we used motels to house everybody in the state that was in need of shelter. Everybody. However, using the motels was a temporary fix, and the days are numbered before the eligibility requirements start to shift so that some people who are currently in the motel program won't qualify. Hence, the reason we're still here and having to do this fundraiser as a reminder that many once again will have to camp out. So tonight is a mixed bag. It is really fun and it's meant to be a lively place to connect, but we're also trying to raise awareness and funds to support people who don't have housing. And it seems all the more heavy right now after we've gone through a year where so many people have had shelter. And so that's one of the reasons for the live stream is so that we can connect with each other. So thank you for tuning in to be a part of that. This is a fundraiser, and so I'm pleased to report that as of right now, we've raised well over $7,000 and have 65 participants that are camping out tonight to support us. Thank you all so much. If you haven't had a chance to make a contribution to the camp, or you want to make a last minute request to your friends or family, we have a couple live buttons that make giving incredibly easy. It's not too late to give. It's not too late to put the word out there. Share your photos of your campsite. Let people know what you're doing. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find a link to donate on the donate page at the top of the chat. Or if you're on Facebook, you can find the link to donate in the Camp for a Cause event page. All right, is it time to figure out, I just realized I don't have access to the chat. So we're gonna come back in just a little while and figure out where people are camping from. But I'm gonna move the program along. And we've kind of planned a program like a Campfire Talk. So we're gonna speak with a couple different staff and board members. We're gonna hear some music from the Detrani brothers, for whom Groundworkers' own Eddie Gaudet and Jackson Stein are half of the band. So we're super proud of that, and they play some incredible music. So you're in for a treat tonight. But to get started, I am pleased to be joined by Laura Chapman. I think Laura's going to turn on theirs, Laura.
Ready.
With Carly in the background. Hey, Carly and Laura.
Laura,
it's good to see
we're
you.
broadcasting live here, so they're just turning down the volume so you don't end up with a ton of reverb. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Laura, you are the shelter admin coordinator at Groundworks. Can you, for folks that don't know what that means, can you tell us a little bit of what a day looks like for you?
Sure. It typically starts with me checking in with our staff to see what's going on, and then addressing situations as they're popping up. I often connect with other area agencies to help coordinate responses to different needs within the program, make sure that we have all of the supplies that we need, make sure that staffing is supported in the ways that they need, and that clients are getting everything that they need. A lot of serving needs.
A lot of serving needs. And you are the supply guru.
That's what I'm told.
I have to say, yes, it's proven. So how's your work changed over the last year? You know, since the last time we had this camp out to now, what's different?
Well, we went from serving 33 folks in our seasonal overflow shelter to serving over 200 in the motel program. So the intensity has definitely risen. The different needs that we're serving have grown immensely, and we are working with a larger staff than we've ever worked with before. We also, everybody's been housed, which has been, or not housed, but temporarily sheltered, which has been an amazing piece of COVID work.
Absolutely. Bend and flex, flex and change. It's kind of been the mantra over the last year. And so as we are getting into an area that we're going to have to bend and flex again, what are you hearing from people we serve about the prospects of the motels no longer being as open door as they have been over the last year?
They're incredibly nervous and want to know exactly how it's going to impact them, when it's going to impact them, and how we're going to be able to support them in staying sheltered.
Absolutely. And in terms of that, of being supportive, is there anything at this time? How can people be supportive? Do we have needs that you want to underscore?
Absolutely. So we are currently doing a tent drive, hoping not to have to put people in, folks, but recognizing the realities of our situation. So if anybody wants to support with the tent drive, we also just bought an enormous amount of tents, and so can always use support in funding. And as we transition, we're definitely going to need support in funding. So hit that donate button.
Absolutely. And just to be clear on that tent drive, if folks have an old tent in their garage that's still in good condition, but they don't use, that's what we're looking for. If they have tarps to go with that, that's what we're looking for. And they can reach out to us and we can figure out a dropout spot. Do we have a drop-off spot?
We do. The Quality Inn Motel at 1380 Putney Road. And we ask that you just pop into the lobby and let us know that you're there, and we will come out and grab it.
Fantastic. Laura, you're going to be joining us again in just a little while for a Q&A to talk more about what's going on with the motel programs and next steps. So you can sign off for now, but be ready. We're going to have some questions for you coming up soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura is amazing and one of a number of amazing people that we have working at Groundworks. And not only do we have incredible staff, we have an incredible board of directors. And I'm so pleased that we have a board member with us tonight, Rita Ramirez, who is our board vice president. Welcome, Rita.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm starting my, there we go.
There you are.
There we are.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much. It's really wonderful to be here. I would love to be outside, but my internet doesn't allow that. So
we'll forgive you this time. You're camping inside tonight.
Thank you.
And so
I will sleep outside.
Couple of quick questions. What's the most impactful thing that you've learned about the work that we do at Groundworks through your vantage point of serving on the board?
Well, you know, I thought about this question a lot, Josh. And one of the things that I think I've learned is obviously the strength of our staff and the dedication, the devotion, and like the ability to just to move quickly, but also move thoughtfully, and how much it takes to really understand not only the needs that that Groundworks is trying to address and that our clients are facing, but also like all of the things that are and aren't available. And so how to coordinate all of those things. It's a big job that requires a lot of skill, a lot of patience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of compassion. And I'm I'm continually wowed by that, by the staff, and by you, of course, and everybody who works on the front lines, and everybody who works in the the executive team. But I was thinking about this also in like acknowledging like the tenacity of the clients that we serve. I mean, that's like it is remarkable what people are dealt in life and how they manage it. And it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. I will misquote it, but it's Dr. Greg Boyle, Father Greg Boyle, and he says,
tattoos on the heart. He wrote Tattoos on the Heart.
Yes, and he's written a couple of other ones, but one of the things he says, which just I try to remember all the time, is stand in awe of what people have to carry, as opposed to standing in judgment of how they carry it. And I think about that a lot, and I think about that with our clients. And
I think Laura's unmuted.
I think Laura might be unmuted. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought she was cheering for me.
I know that was a perfect moment with that quote, because it's such a beautiful quote. I know.
Could have been. It is a really beautiful quote. So I think about that a lot too. So I think being on the board has reminded me of how much strength people have, and how it doesn't always present in the way that we can easily, or that it can be easily seen, but it's there. It's there. So that's, I think, probably what I've learned the most over this last couple of years, but especially this year.
That's beautiful, Rita. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service to the board.
Absolutely.
And thanks for being here tonight.
I'm glad to be here. All right. So I look forward to hearing what other folks have to say.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so now it is time for our first musical interlude. Special thanks again to our band members, Eddie and Jackson. Both are advocates at our motel-based services. We're going to meet Eddie later on in the broadcast. But until then, first song tonight is going to be Discarded Names. This is the Detrani Brothers. And happy listening.
That was great. Thank you, Eddie, Jackson, and the Detrani brothers. Also, thanks to Akhil Srivastava on our advocate staff for filming the Detrani brothers clips for tonight. What a multi-talented bunch of ground workers we've got. Many, many thanks to you all. And thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm Libby Bennett. I'm Director of Development and Communications at Groundworks. As Josh said, we're coming to a point where a number of people sheltering in the motels may no longer be eligible for motel rooms. And I wanted to just remind people again, if you have a tent that you are willing to donate, something that you'd be willing to sleep in yourself. You know, we don't want something with a hole in the roof that's not going to work out for somebody. But please feel free to drop those off at the Quality Inn. That phone number again is in the YouTube chat, but it's 802-490-9446 when you get there, and the staff will come out and get it from you. We'll be posting about that tent drive on our Facebook page as well. And with that, I would really like to take a moment to thank our sponsors of tonight's event. We're just so appreciative of all the folks who've stuck with us during this challenging time and continue to support our work. So big thanks to Silver Forest, Abatum Exterminating, the Brattleboro Food Co-op, Trust Company of Vermont, Farnham Insulators, HCRS, the Savings Bank of Walpole, Physical Therapy Services of Brattleboro, and the Putney Food Co-op. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate all of your support, and to all of you who are supporting as well. So now I'm going to pass things back to Josh, and I'll see you again a little later.
And I'm back. How about the Detrani brothers, huh? That was awesome. I'm really fired up now. So thank you, Libby. And again, thank you to all the sponsors helping us to make this event a success. And now I get to introduce Christine Coleccion, our FoodWorks coordinator. Hi.
Hi, it's good to be here. I'm not camping. I have way too many ticks on my property, but I'm glad to be here in my office.
Well, it's so good to see you, Christine. And, you know, we spend so much time tonight talking about our shelter programs and motel-based services, but a huge other portion of the work that we do at Groundworks is around food. And so over the past year, can you give us a sense of like what that has looked like in a nutshell? Because it's been so much.
Yeah, a lot, pretty much everything that we do, other than, you know, we're still giving out food, but the ways in which we're distributing food and the amount of food and the amount of people has really changed. We're still doing curbside shopping as of now, as well as delivering food. I think one of the biggest changes we've been seeing recently is just the ever increasing number of places we're sending food to each week. The various hotels where folks are housed, apartment buildings, Groundworks programs, tiny pantries, community pop-ups. We're really trying to make access to food as easy as possible. We're also ramping up our efforts to meet the specific food needs of folks without access to stoves and cooking. Appliances and hotels, it's been really an eye-opener to see so many people living long-term in hotels. Even before COVID, folks rent out hotels very commonly, especially since cooking food has been such a comfort to me through COVID, and trying to help others get that same level of comfort through food other folks cook.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so are there any ways that folks can be supportive in supporting FoodWorks and people's food needs?
In addition to our team, Benjamin, Zach, and Eliza, we have an incredible crew of volunteers who really have stuck with us through COVID and really make our work possible. So we could definitely use volunteer support. You can go to the Groundworks website and there's a volunteer contact form if you're interested. We've also been trying to match our capacity with the need that has arisen through COVID. So funds definitely do help us the most to support food and staffing.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you want folks to know?
I think one of the silver linings of COVID is how our work has been enriched through the huge increase in community collaborations and the Hunger Council. And we're always looking for help with cultivating innovation in our local food system and finding creative solutions to the many problems that have arisen during this time. So reach out to me if you're interested in becoming part of the Hunger Council and the systems level work.
Excellent, Christine. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
We are going to have a Q&A coming up. Laura's going to come back and join us, and Libby's going to ask her a few questions. So now would be a great time. If you have any questions about what's going on with our work, what's happening in the motels, what's coming up in the next couple months, now is the time to get your questions in on the YouTube live chat on Facebook, while the Detrani brothers are going to do another song. You know, this is partially, we're here, this is very serious, and on the other side, we're at a camp out and having a lot of fun. And so this next song is Iron Serpent. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
a pretty good take.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Detrani Brothers. I hope we get to do this event in person next year and you'll get to come back so we can all dance together. I love the close-up work on Jackson's hair flying and Eddie's faces. Thank you all so much. I am going to invite Laura to come back on screen so the two of us can take your questions. And we've had quite a few questions submitted in advance. So thank you to everybody who sent in your questions early on. Laura, how are things going over there?
Good. Everybody's eating right now.
Lucky them. So we want to get to some of our previously submitted questions. I also want to remind people that you can still submit questions. It's not too late to pop their questions right into the chat and we'll get to them here. So Laura, one of the first question is how many people are in the motels right now and what's going on there? How many people?
The last number that we had was 205 with about 194 households. And 10 of those households are families with children, about 18 children in the motels right now.
Oh, amazing. And are people in the motels getting vaccinated? Somebody wants to know?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So folks were getting vaccinated as their age came up. And then we also have run a couple of clinics. Rescue was kind enough to bring a bunch of extra doses to us. So we were able to vaccinate 15 people at that point. And then through partnership with Brattleboro Memorial Hospital and Vermont Department of Health, we were able to vaccinate an additional 18. And we continue to shuttle people to get vaccinated.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for all that great work. It's no small feat to be organizing all of that. And keeping folks informed of when and where they can get vaccinated is awesome. Somebody else asked when are the motels closing and where will people go? So we talked a little bit about that, but I wonder if you want to talk about the new Groundworks drop-in center.
Sure, yeah. So we're planning to open the new Groundworks Drop-In Center, first for daytime use, and then later on for the 24-hour shelter if all goes according to plan and the funding comes through. We would really like to see the shelter operate year-round, not just as a daytime shelter, as we've always done, but for an overnight shelter as well. And with adequate funding, we now have the space available to do so.
That's exciting. It's very exciting. It's exciting to be here in such a really dignified space for the people that we serve. Somebody else asked what's happening to the old drop-in center building, and I'm happy to talk a little bit about that. So we work together with the Vermont Division of Historic Preservation, and together we really determined that the building is in too great a state of disrepair to be saved. So, the foundation is crumbling, the wood, all of the wood in the building is like too damp to renovate, and we can't properly insulate there. So we are incredibly grateful for all of the years that building has functioned to serve as many people as it has. It's really amazing what has been able to happen in that building. Even, it's been in rough shape for quite some time. But we are able to, we're going to start deconstructing that building over the summer, and we will build a brand new building on that same footprint. We're going to keep the historic three-sided fireplace that's in the center of that building and sort of build this new building around it. And it'll give us adequate space to house our representative payee program, our case management team, and our HealthWorks team. So we're really excited about that. We're working right now to document that building. So in photographs and drawings and capture all of the historic value that's there. And then we ought to be able to start the new construction in the summertime in time to open that building at the end of the year. And we'll have a fully functioning campus over here with all of our staff. There are just very, very few of us working from this building at this time. And we're still not open to the public, but it's a beautiful building. We can't wait to show it off. Somebody else asked, did you start a project at Dalem Chalet? Yes, we did. Laura, do you want to answer that one? Or
Sure. So, with all that's been going on, we were able to start a permanent supportive housing community with 35 units of permanent supportive housing for people who had been experiencing homelessness and were sheltering in motels last year.
It's such an exciting thing.
It is so exciting.
And finally, somebody asked in advance, how do we donate to support this event? And so I, just sort of off the cuff, you can donate at groundworksvt.org. There are lots of links that show the camp logo there, and we'll take you to the point if you want to make a donation to help us reach our goal tonight. But also it's a great place to visit and learn more about our work there as well. So you can find a link in the YouTube chat and on the Facebook event page also. So thank you all for your support. I think that's it for questions. It looks like we haven't had any questions on the YouTube chat or Facebook, and that's totally fine. You still have some time. We'll run back to that right at the end. So feel free, there's still time if you want to submit a question. And thanks to everybody who submitted in advance.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you everyone who's camping out tonight, and to everybody who's watching at home. We have people camping out tonight in all over our local area, as well as in St. Vincent in the Caribbean. Our former board member, Scott Charland, is down there. Josh's family is participating from Atlanta. There's their little setup there in the backyard. And a small group of our staff are camping out together tonight hanging out with Laura there, watching us live right now. So that's really fun. Thank you all so much. We're so appreciative of everybody's efforts to garner last minute donations and help us reach our goal. We would love to have people texting a friend and telling people to tune in. This recording will be available on our YouTube channel and on Facebook even after we end here tonight. Together, we've raised over $7,000 to support Groundworks housing and shelter programs, and we have a bit more time in the fiscal year to meet that goal. So thanks for your help in spreading the word. I'm going to kick it back to Josh and Eddie, and thank you all so much.
Thank you, Libby. Thank you, Laura. Before Eddie comes on, I want to I have to show my setup here. I feel pretty good about that. It's been a nice place to join the camp out tonight. Eddie, are you there?
There.
Hey. It's good to see you. Excellent music with the Detrani brothers. And before we talk about that, your other hat that you're wearing is an advocate in our motel-based services. And so just real quick, what does that mean? You are on the front lines of the work that we are doing. And so can you tell us what a typical day is like for an advocate?
Yeah, I don't know if there's such thing as a typical day, because every day seems to be completely different, which is part of what I love about it. But we'll come in, we'll make sure all of the food is ready to be served. We do 3 meals a day over here at the Quality Inn, make sure all the food is prepped and ready for everybody. And we're there for people for all of their requests. Sometimes I feel like I'm a milkman. Sometimes I feel like I'm a mailman. But I love it. And we just provide everybody with everything they need. If they need, shaving cream, toothbrush, anything, we've got it for them. We're happy to provide it for them. Sometimes there are crises that we have to deal with, and we just take them as they come. All of the staff that I'm fortunate enough to work with is so good at handling any situation completely calmly, very level-headedly, and everybody I work with is just so ready to help, and it's amazing. And yeah.
It's incredible. I think absolutely right. One of our strengths is our staff, and our staff is just remarkable. And I'd put a plug in that we're actually hiring right now. So if you're inspired by the work that we're doing and you want to join our team, we do have some positions open. Getting back to the music, the Trani Brothers are awesome. Thank you so much for playing these songs tonight for us. And anything you want to tell us about this last song, what the inspiration is?
Yeah, so this last song is called Home. It was written by the two brothers, the Trani brothers, Bobby and Walker, who are from North Bend, Washington, a little ways outside of Seattle. And they wrote that song about how they are being priced out of their hometown due to gentrification. Part of the reason they're living on the East Coast is they just couldn't afford to live at home anymore. And I think that's a very relevant issue around the country, but, especially with the work we do, seeing a lot of our folks, a lot of our clients are in the position they're in now because they were still making money, but not enough to afford to live. And rent just keeps going up and up and up. And it's crying shame. And this song reminds me, or I think is a good representation of this event, in that the music itself is very fun and bouncy and good to dance to, but also the message behind it is very serious and dire.
Yeah. And unfortunately, all too common, as you said, and it's something that we experience here in Brattleboro and is experienced on the other side of the country and everywhere in between. And so the song is Home. The band is the Trani Brothers. Eddie, where can folks buy this incredible music?
We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, YouTube, all of those. We've got an online store, but I don't know the link to it. But we're on Facebook and all that.
So search out the Trani Brothers, add it to your collection. It's well worth it. Eddie, thank you so much. The song is Home. Here we go. Yes, indeed. The Trani brothers. So great. Thank you, Eddie. And there was one last question that came in actually from my sister. It's a great question that we have accomplished so much this year. Groundworks has accomplished so much. What do you think is the biggest accomplishment? It's so hard to pick just one thing to say, like, this is the biggest accomplishment. I think what I have to, first and foremost, we're really proud of the fact that we've been able to interrupt homelessness and put people in motels, but that was done because there was a public health emergency. And the fact that that action worked, in the sense that we did not lose any of our clients, staff, to the COVID virus. And in actuality, we were relatively untouched by it. I say relatively. We had a few positives throughout the year that were then isolated. We went through considerable testing and quarantining. Some over Christmas, staff were quarantining over Christmas, which was just incredibly challenging. And when we were almost at the end, we were actually on the horizon. The following week was a vaccine clinic, the Johnson vaccine. And we started to have positive tests, multiple, like right in a row. And so we had to quarantine the Quality Inn. But that was almost a year after we set up services at the Quality Inn. And I guess if I had to pick one, I would say keeping people safe through the pandemic, not only the folks that we serve, but our staff as well, has to be our biggest accomplishment. We ask staff to put themselves and their families at risk by coming to work. We take that responsibility very seriously. We try to support people and having everything they need to stay protected, as well as keeping clients protected from the public health emergency. And in large part, we were massively successful with that. But I can't stop there because we've accomplished so much. While we are doing that, you heard tonight from Laura that she talked about the numbers of people that we're serving have tripled, just skyrocketed. And the way that our staff has responded to that, the way that they have been able to flex and change to meet that need at a moment's notice is just incredible. And you think about starting a whole new project while the project is going, and you are figuring it out as you're walking the path. And the same thing is true. We heard that from Christine and the work that FoodWorks is doing. And you think about how we've done that administratively as well. We had to walk the path. We had to make the path as we were walking it. And there were just so many things that were different, that were new, that were more intense. And we were able to navigate that as a group. And I would say in large part, we're coming out of this as an organization and much stronger and with a deep sense of gratitude for what we've been able to do together. Libby's tuning in tonight from the new and improved drop-in center. So while all of this massive change is going on in our programs, by the way, we built a building, and the building is beautiful, and we aren't fully showing it tonight because we're keeping a little surprise there. We're going to unveil the building very soon, and so excited that we have a dignified place for people to come and have their needs met. Beautiful showers, places to sleep, places to relax, a pantry, food, connect with services, and so all of that. And I think I'm just so proud to be where we are a year later, feeling very tight-knit with the staff, proud of what we've accomplished in terms of safety for staff and clients. A little disheartened at our hard work keeping folks in motels, that is going to start to unwind, and we're facing the reality of people camping in the community. But also a little bit heartened that we have a beautiful space for people to come to, for those in need. So thank you, Liz, for the question. It's a beautiful question. And so with that, I think that brings us to the end of tonight's Camp for a Cause. Once again, thank you so much for supporting us. We can't do it without the support that we get from the community. We literally could not do the work that we do without your support. So it's things like this that go a long way. So thank you for being a part of us. Thank you for being a part of Groundworks. And now I'm going to ask everybody to turn their cameras on so that we can give a big farewell and thank you wave.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.